All right, good evening, everyone. How are you doing today? So, first things first, today I'm not meant to sermonize everyone. Thank you, Oluwakorede or Desonya. It's not sermon time. Hi, Ife Oluwadosumo. It's not sermon time. It's supposed to be question and answers. And the idea is that we are able to brainstorm into, finding answers and also checking with the Spirit of God and with scriptures what answers we give for the questions. So I don't want, like you said, if you leave a pastor to preach, you preach all day. So I don't want to preach. I want to answer questions. So and these questions are not only for single people, they're also for people that are married, they're also for people that are in a relationship, they're also for people that are in a, even if you're in a situationship, safe, come through because you did not want to be in that situation. The situation cut you. So if you are in any form of ship, friendship, courtship, relationship, let's ask our questions. I have some questions that I put up on my Instagram. Some of these questions I've gotten over time. Some of them I just thought about it based on realities that I've heard or I've read about. But I want us to put our questions on the chat section. If you know your questions are a bit personal and you do not want people to identify you with that question, you can send it to me as form of in the form of a direct message, and I will read it without your name. Of course, the aim is that we get answers. We are not in the business of pointing fingers of anything. Yes, and like a friend of mine said, better you know than you wish you knew. Better you know than you wish you knew. Another person will say a broken courtship is better than a broken marriage. So we are people that the Lord has given a mandate, which is that concerning marriage, as for me and my household, we shall serve the Lord. And the devil is very upset about that mandate. So the devil does everything in his power to ensure that families do not serve God. And if you look at every nation is a macro view of the family. So the family is the micro view of a nation. If you want to see how a nation would develop, look at the emphasis they pay on child raising, the educational system, the parenting system. Yes, these things will give you a bit of a foretaste as to what will become of that nation. So, yes, please, questions will be great to have. While we are in that space, let me just go to some of the questions that I had here. Just give me a second. Let me find those questions. I wrote them down, but I need to pull them out now. Yes. Um, okay, maybe I start with okay, no, not that. Um, okay, yes. So somebody can also help me just put these questions down so that I do not forget. The first question is there such a thing as soulmate? The second question is, so somebody just let me put them down so I don't have to keep going back to the source data where I put all of them. So first question, is there any such thing as a soulmate? Number two is, can I be attracted to more than one person? They say I am too picky. How do I choose wisely? Does money really matter in making a choice? Five says, we had sex. Does it mean this can't work anymore? Six says, I like him, but he's in an unhappy marriage. Um, Another one says, can I start all over? I think I made a mistake. This is actually for a married person. Eight says, is divorce God's will? Where can single sisters above 35 years, find good guys without looking desperate. Number 10 says, can I find a partner on a dating app? Boom. All right. How many of you feel like those are really, really good questions? Okay. Sister Ritoke, I see your hands are up.
Sir, please,
Yes.
you wanted us to help write the questions, but you were a bit fast. So
I was okay. So, Toke, here's what you do go to my Instagram.
yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah.
Go to my, is it feed or the one that doesn't
Story.
last more than 24 hours?
Story.
Ah, thank you very much. Oh, Jesus, I'm getting old. And just help me pick out the questions. That's why I spoiled all of them.
All right. Okay, I see.
So
Okay.
you could just go there and just
Okay,
do
sir.
the copy pasting. So, first question that I want to ask to the house. If you are not asking me questions, so I'll ask you a question, and I'll call you by names. Yes, if you are not talking, I will talk to you. So the first question is there such a thing as soulmate? So somebody says, I'm looking for my soulmate. I've not found my soulmate. Is there anything like soulmates? Anybody wants to give an answer to that? Let me ask married people. As they are married, they will know now. Abby, what do you think? Yeah. Let me see who is married on the call. Hmm. Is there anything like soulmates? Let me see. I'm looking for an interesting person to pick. Hmm. Let me pick our dear pastor, Pastor Emmanuel. What do you think about that question? Is there anything as someone is your soulmate? Hello, Pastor Emmanuel, are you here?
Yes, I am. But the
Okay.
network is bad, so I
You
didn't hear.
said
So you mentioned my name eventually.
yes. I said I want us to weigh in on a question. The question
Hello,
was, can you hear
hello,
me?
hello. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
Pastor
I know
Emmanuel,
the
can hear
question.
you.
I know okay. Is there anything like a soulmate?
Yes.
I think I think basically you choose.
Hey, Pastor Emmanuel, can't hear
I
you
think
again.
love is
No,
a choice. There can, wow. Hello.
we can hear you now.
Okay. So I said the issue with the ideology of soulmate to me is somebody be married. You know, what do you say if you date someone, you know, because you meet people and you have this ideology, they are still the way. Like, wow, that this person I dated, if I had married him, life would have been good. And now that I've missed him, I can never see anybody else again. I've missed my soulmate and stuff like that. So what I'll say
Hey, Pastor Emmanuel, your network, oh, Jesus. Or is it my network? Can anybody
there
hear
are a lot
Pastor
of
Emmanuel?
maybe negative
So I'm
consequences,
sure I'm
some
not the one.
happens, maybe travels or perspective on soulmates. Sorry, did everybody hear me? Maybe.
No, sir. No, sir. Okay, so people can hear me, Pastor Emmanuel. It's like me, you are on band C with our network operators. Mm-hmm. Okay. Maybe Pastor Emmanuel should write his answers on a chat box. Who else? Who else? Let me look for another couple. Please don't let your network be working. It's supposed to be network for a reason. How do you work? Brother Cyril, are you there? Brother Cyril, no, this is a very good way to start this something. Hope you have not left your phone in the office.
I celebrate you, sir.
I celebrate grace. Yes, sir. Can you answer our question, sir?
I think I'll just continue from what I heard Pastor Emmanuel said, that
Okay.
love is a
Minister of
choice.
continuity.
That love is a choice. even when God formed Eve, Eve was like the perfect example of soulmate. You are the only one for me. Like Eve was the
Hmm.
proper definition of you are the one for me.
Come
Like
on
God
now.
just looked at them and did a full design of this is what you need. You don't need anything. This is the only package. But God
Hey,
still had to bring him to Adam. And
come on
just
now.
like the way Adam named every animal, Adam said, this one is the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh. And that is still choice. So if we look at that, and if we also look at the when God says when the Bible says he that finds a wife, if you find something, it's not like it's just there. It's just like I used to say it this way. Especially for people that are in their single stage, God will always bring people the way he brought Eve and to see what you will call them.
Come
So
on now.
there might be people around you and you have tagged them, this is my friend. That is what you have called them. So next month he'll parade another brother, he'll parade another sister just to see what you call the person. So love is the
Hmm.
choice.
Come on
The
now.
idea of soulmates is an
It does.
illusion. So God will
It
keep
does not
bringing people,
exist.
just as He brought to Adam.
It's not what
Just as
God
He
cannot
brought to
do.
Adam. And if you say this one is my brother, Angel Gabriel will say, okay, that one,
Move
Sister
on.
Deborah said, brother Lagbaja is his brother, on to the next brother. And God will parade another brother. If you say it's my brother again, on to the next. So it's what
Hmm.
you decide, it's your choice.
Come on
So
now.
once you now see one and now say this one is the bone of my flesh,
But she bone
heaven
of
will
my flesh,
align.
no. You need to show me
Thank
your
you,
Bible,
sir.
Minister Siri, bone of my flesh, wow.
But I don't know how what shall I so back
Bone
call?
of my bone and
I'm
flesh of my
actually
flesh.
trying to concentrate on the road. I'm trying.
Okay, okay. No, but well said. I love what you said. You know, you just shed light on something so brilliant. You said the Bible said, whatever Adam named it, that is what he was. Hey, and as you just said that, something just came to my head. That do you know how many single sisters have named their husbands, bro? Hey, my God. Some of you are friends zone them to your singlehood. Because whatever you named him, that is what he is. You are not seeing marriageable qualities because you have brought the life out of that person. He said, but he's a bro. Ginika, are you sure you want us to start on this tangent? All right. So somebody said here, just so that we can give context to the definition of soulmate, you know, because sometimes it can be a bit murky. Somebody said here that oh my God, now the chats are coming in. Some people just came for vibes. Where is yes, somebody says a soulmate is a person ideally suited to another as a close friend or a romantic partner. Dictionary definition. Someone that is ideally suited, meaning pretty much this guy is it, this girl is it. Besides her, there can be no other. So, anybody wants to speak about it? Do you think that there is such a person that was supernaturally configured for just you, and that if you miss that person, it's over. It's over now. It's over. Yeah. Anybody wants to chime in? Um, somebody say, I repent. Yes, some of you have brought the destinies of men and you are now coming. You know, I think I saw something from Pastor Petra. I think is Aya Jenny. Jenny, I think. Yeah. He said, you know, you come and you say you want to get married. God say this year, you say no. Next year, you say no. And there are people. So is it possible that some of us are not looking intently, or we are looking for a city whose maker is God? That means you are set on a view, and except that thing comes in that view, it may not be the one. Interesting conversations. Somebody says, making a t-shirt with "Do not bro me" Don't bro me to death, man. He says, set as a fit. I'm just going to get out of the comment section. You guys will not allow me focus. Please, who is going to talk? Is this a typing meeting? So everybody's mic is unmuted. It's me that should be talking. Oh, yeah, me too. You know, I'm married. So it's question and answer. Perhaps I
What's
can
the
just be waiting
question?
till 8 o'clock. Okay.
What's the
So,
question?
Arton, did you
Sir.
just get here?
No, I've been here for a bit.
Look at
I
that.
got when Pastor Emmanuel was trying to explain soulmates.
So the question is there such a thing as having a soulmate?
I don't think there's one person for everybody because because as someone explained earlier this week, it means that if your one person dies, then you are doomed.
Equation no balance again.
If your one person marries the wrong
marries
person,
wrong, he has affected you adversely.
Exactly. So I know two people who got married and one of them had been married before, but then his spouse died and then he met this other person and they got married and they were like, oh, we were destined for each other. And I was like, okay, so what happened to the first person he married?
Madam number one.
Exactly. And it was almost like, oh, well, it's only him that can answer why he took that detour.
Wow.
So I don't think that there is one person for everybody. I think that there is a selection of right people for you. But then it also depends on your unique plan that God has for your own life. So there are people who, if you hook up with them, you probably get where you're going faster. There are people who, if you hook up with them, certain things will come out quicker than with other people. So not one person for everybody, but a series of right choices, but, bottom line, be led. Because you have friends who should just be friends. And there are people who you should, as they don't friend zone. But at the end of the day, it takes the wisdom of God. So I don't think there's one person for everybody. But when you make the choice, stick with your choice.
That person becomes your one person.
Exactly. Stick with your choice because there will always be somebody who is finer, somebody who is better, somebody who is more anointed, somebody who you're like, oh, if I had been with this person. But then when you make the choice, at the point where you make the choice, all other choices become mute. There is no had I, could I. You literally burn the bridge as you make the choice. Like there are no other options after
this. Step and burn the last step.
That's it.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that perspective. Oluwole, yes, I'll give you to speak. Then we'll move on to the next question. I think we have exhausted this one as I'm not getting any buffers. I'll be something on this one. Yes, Oluwole.
Yeah, good evening, Pierre. Thank you very much. I believe, Sister Tone said, they start calling people Sister Tone now. Anyways, she mentioned, I believe that as long as choice exists, you can't have an exclusive person. Because the concept of choice is already in existence, there's no one person. And also, if you look at the numbers based on if you do the ratio of women to men, there's an offset somewhere. So it's not possible that there's one exclusive person for one person. But at the end of the day, I also do believe that in certain situations, based on certain assignments or certain calls on one's life, God can align you with a certain person. But even then, it's still up to you to make that decision that this is the person I want to do the assignment God sent me to do with. So there are situations like that. But I feel at the bottom of it all that as long as choice exists, there's no one person. There's a diversity of people in different places. So that's how
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I'm going to answer it very succinctly. It's often said that there are two major decisions that a person has to make in life. Who you might. Okay, is there somebody there? Pastor Emmanuel? Hell, but for this network, we would have heard the wisdom you want to drop.
Something just came to my mind that what will have happened? Nobody can hear me.
We can hear you. It just came out.
We can hear you.
It's like as if your network just allowed you for a quick sec. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what I was saying was that, if it was one person for what would have happened to Paul's soulmates?
Paul's soulmates. Oh, Jesus.
As he decided to pursue the gospel, what would have happened
My
to
God.
her?
Or what would have happened to Daniel's soulmate after they've castrated my brother? Uh, I think this just makes perfect sense. What I was going to say was the same way man is given the liberty to choose his religion is the same way God gives man and woman the ability to choose their spouses. Both of them are not exclusive. It's a game of choice, and I'll tell you why it's a game of choice. Number one, because you're choosing that person is is what shows number one the understanding of who you are and where you are going. So God cannot impose a destination on you. God can cast a vision for you, but He cannot impose that destination. So if you see a church person and you feel that for whatever reason that person is boring, and you go for someone that is very upbeat, but spirituality is the nye, 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 it says where you want to go. And for that, God cannot change that for you. You would get in it and you will most likely have that upbeat person. But when the demands for where the strength of spirituality comes, that person will come lagging and you will find out that this was a wrong choice. So that is it. I'm not going to belabor that. I saw what Ginika wrote. Ginika, be careful. Ginika said, if your own person dies, you should take another person's own. I think that's just about just the fact that there is nothing like soulmates. Yeah. So somebody said so good. For a long time, I thought, Miriam, I'm just going to swipe past. I'm just going to really just swipe past because you guys are ready for trouble in this comment section. Okay. Question number two. Question number two. Can I be attracted to more than one person? Anybody wants to take that? Like, I feel so in love with two people, like this one and maybe this one. Anybody wants to speak into that? Can I be attracted to more than one person at the same time? Let's put balance. At the same time. Oh my God. Can I close this chat box? I just close this chat room. Oh my God. Anybody wants to speak? Like I said, this is a question and answer. It's like, I think this is my church. One of the challenges, you guys are very full. You are coming from a lot of knowledge. So you don't seem to have need for these stuffs. Anybody wants to speak into it? Okay, I'm going to call somebody now. Bliss Ogbodo, tell me, is it possible to be attracted to two people at the same time? Bliss Ogbodo. Okay. Let me check in the comment section whether the names I'm calling are responding. Somebody said,
Hi, Theo. Good evening.
Bliss, are you in a place where you can talk? Can you answer?
Not really. I'll send the chat.
Okay, we'll be glad to see it in the chat. All right. I'm going to ask who else again? I've not seen this person in a bit. Dasola Alfred, how are you? It's been a moment, just a moment. Yes, you want to answer my question? Hey, God, this silence is amazing. Okay.
Can I just,
Oluwole?
can I
Yes, you
just
say
try?
this one, but I want to propel people to talk because it's like people just came to be fed. So we'll change this thing from fed to cook together. It's like people just came with plates. Yeah. So Oluwole, speak on this one, but I would still want other people to chime in. But yes, please have your floor.
I feel like when people say they are attracted to two people at the same time, I feel it's sometimes they it feels like a concept of build your own bowl. So like in the process of them, like when you go to like this ice cream place and they tell you build your own bowl of ice cream. So sometimes it's like people are attracted to in the vision they have of the ideal person, they're finding certain things that is part of this bowl of ice cream they are trying to make in different people. So if you look at it in terms of point of legitimate attraction, you find out that that attraction they said they have is on shaky ground because it's just a part of the ideal they have in their mind that they're attracted to, not the sum total. So when someone says they're attracted to two people are not exactly the same thing. So it is something in the person that you're attracted to part time. So that's how but the way I think about it is when you say you are attracted to somebody, it's the feature you're attracted to, not particularly the person, per se. That's how I see it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Oluwole. Someone in chat group says, is it attraction we are talking about or love? If it's attraction, yes, I think you can. Okay. Dasola says, Bishop, I'm not sure it's proper, but it happens. The attraction for one will be unstable. Sha. Okay. That means one will have full bar. The other one will be low current. Thanks. All right. Who else wants to chime in? Lady Claire, do you want to tell us something? Lady Claire, are you in a place where you can speak?
Sir, I don't know. Is it from singles people's perspective or married people's
But for both
perspective?
of them, because I have my own perspective too as a married man. Yay.
Baby, the question is, can you be
Can you be
attracted to
attracted?
more than one
But I already
person?
answered
David.
before.
But yeah, tell us your answer.
Can you be attracted to more than one person?
Yes.
You want to go and
Always.
call Odogu to answer the question?
Yes,
She said, baby.
because I told him I am
Be
Stevie
oppressing
Wonder.
us,
I
oh.
see nobody.
Me, for me, I believe you can always be attracted to more than one person. Hey,
Mhm.
eyes and you don't have one eye now. You have two
Come on
eyes.
now.
Eye is more than one.
So you're attracted to more than one.
Hey, Aka, what have we started?
What do you do when
Okay.
you're attracted to more than one
That's
person?
not the question.
No.
They asked a simple question. Can you be
Wait.
attracted to
Hey,
You guys
but
are going to
now,
turn this
yes
into
or
Aka and
no?
Claire.
It is a yes.
so but now, what do you do when you're attracted to another person?
You're not the one preaching.
Away,
Believe yourself, sir.
away.
You guys, please take this
I
up on
see.
your vlog. Eh?
I
Okay.
have. I told him, me, I am Stevie Wonder. I see no one but you there.
Look at that. Aka
Blind.
says, though I see, you own my eyes. Yeah, I say it for him though. All right. So the question being said is, can you be attracted to two people or multiple people? My answer, anybody wants to speak? If you want to speak, just raise up your hand and I will call you. My answer is attraction is like the sand of the seashore. What is attraction? Something that fascinates you. And you see, this is also where a lot of people get into trouble. You start casting and binding when you are having attraction. The truth of the matter is, if you're attracted to something, it means two things. It means that number one, you've recognized that there is something that you like. And two, it could also mean that maybe there is something that you are deficient of in your relationship. So if you're attracted to another person, you want to ask yourself, is this attraction just because I generally like this stuff? Or is this attraction because I do not find this stuff in the person I am committed to? Attraction has nothing to do with commitment. I have gone to a boutique before and I'm attracted to the t-shirt. But at the mention of the price, every wallet must enter. So I can be attracted to something because attraction is a function of something that appeals to the eyes. However, this is the caveat. The eyes is also part of the gateways to your soul. If you do not do something about an attraction can fester. An attraction can grow. An attraction can turn to an infatuation. So I'll give you an example. Because I like gadgets. When the Samsung Galaxy Fold 6 came out, I went for the pre-launch. In fact, that was the second pre-launch I was going for. I've been to the 5, and the ones I can't go to, I literally watch them online to show you how, yeah, I tend to like gadgets. Now, here is the thing. When I zone in on a gadget, I watch every video, every commentary, every unboxing, everything about it. I check reviews. In fact, my wife will tell you that if you want to know what next thing Olumide is going to squander money on, just check his YouTube feed. Once you look at his YouTube, you can tell that, hey, Olumide wants to buy a new car. Olumide wants to buy a new perfume. Olumide wants to buy a new phone. Now, attraction got me there. But because I don't deal with my attraction, it can now lead to an infatuation. And I'll be honest with you, I watched that Galaxy Fold 6 so much. I watched and watched and watched. I watched video, I watched this, I watched that. Eventually, I bought it. And I bought it to the detriment of my financial plans. Keeping it real with you guys. I bought it to the detriment of my financial plans. In fact, that was the one thing I bought without telling my wife. Normally, anything that will be capital intensive, anything that has passed 1 million naira, basically, or even less sometimes, anything that is capital intensive, we have to have family meeting that, hello, I'm about to dip my hand inside the family purse. Irrespective of who earns the money or not, it doesn't matter whether the money is sitting in my account. That is the principle we have in my home. But I was so infatuated by that purchase that I did it without her. And eventually she got to know, thankfully by God and typical of God, He will cast you. And we had to have a frank talk, and I felt like I, betrayed our trust, and I apologized. Bottom line, I returned the phone. Because guess what? The moment I purchased the phone, I bought it abroad, but I hadn't received it. It just dawned on me that, okay, Olumide, the one that you are using now, what is wrong with it? What is wrong with it? Then I looked at the hoops and the jumps that I had to get the phone. I'm like, no. Then I remember PI's word that she said, whatever you struggle to have, you most likely will struggle to keep. I'm like, why did I do this? Why that other thing that I've bought, it comes easy. This one, why would I even keep stuff for my wife? Pretty much attraction, if not checked, especially if you are in a committed relationship, can lead to infatuation, and it can blind you from making critical decisions. Now you may ask, Olumide, I'm not in a relationship, but there are 5 guys in front of me. One is rich, one loves God. One is rich small but love God more. One is rich, one is not so rich, but okay, one is very rich but does not love God as much. One, he loves God, he's rich, but I don't like him. Now, you now have to bring everything and subject your attraction to your core values. We remember the thing I said when I started. Your choice is a function of where you are going and the state of your thought pattern. If you think yourself as, I just want to be somebody's wife and just have a home and marry, have children and whatever, you would settle for anything that will give you that. If it is to be married, if it's to have sex, if it's to have companion, if it's so that when you say hello, somebody in the house can say hi, your standards will not even need prayer points. You can get the average madman on the street. You understand me? But if your standards are because there is a kingdom that needs to be built, there is a kingdom to represent, there is destinies that are attached to your life, then it would start to inform what you want. So you ask yourself, okay, you may not have money, but does he not only have God? We'll soon go into that area. Oh, is God fearing? You see, some people, it's not that they are God fearing, it's the fact that let me not go there. You look at where you want to go, what your dreams are, what God has highlighted with you, or highlighted to you about your future. You now start to see what would be the type of person that would, get you there. And you now start to pray, and you now also start to seek counsel, and you have conversations. have conversations, not lead them on. Not every one of them you are going out on a date. No, have casual conversations. Know the stuff that they are made of. Some of them will sift out. You will see that, okay, this one is a bit shallow. Oh, this one is still going through his trauma. You will find out certain things that will make you be like, okay, maybe even if he's the one, maybe he's not now. Till you find one that you guys are able to really align in values, and then you can take a chance to, yeah. The next thing is you also want to look at, are there false walls? I've thought about this a long time ago, but I'll refresh it. When you go to a company and you see that they are partitioned the company, you see your guy's office, the room for the conference room, you look at the sales team, this is where they have the IT room. A lot of those walls that you see there are not actually bricks. They are false walls. So what happens is also in our minds, we have false walls. Certain things that we've built. I want a guy that is tall. That has built a wall against the short guys. I want a guy that is fair. That has built a wall against the dark guys. I want a guy that has money. That has built a wall against the guy that is just trying to start his business. I want a guy that is a celebrity. That has built a wall against, somebody that is a regular Joe. By the time you have all these constructs, you see that the walls, though you have a space of 500 square meters, your false walls has limited your ecosystem to 2 square meters. So you want to ask yourself, are there walls that are false, that they are not core values? You can do away with it. Okay, what does it matter if he is dark, but he loves God and he loves me? What does it matter if he is not a popular person, but I am very, very important to him? So you also want to check your false walls. And from there, you see that you'll be able to see clearly. Yes, I think that answers that question. I'm going to ask another question. I'm not seeing questions from y'all, and it's a bit baffling, to be honest. I'll keep it 100. I'm not seeing questions from you guys. So I don't know whether you guys just came to vibe or you guys have questions that you want to ask. And please, it's not only single, specific, married. Like I said, I will keep it anonymous. If you want to say something about your darling husband or darling wife, and for world peace, you don't want them to know it's you, please send it to me privately and I would ask it independently. Yes, this one, number 3. They say I am too picky. What do I do to choose wisely? Yes, anybody wants to ask me that question? Anybody wants to? Yes, I thought I saw your hand up now. Did I see your hand up? Like the hand went up and down. This question, they say
Yes, it
I
was
am
my
too picky.
hand.
Oh, okay. Ebube, hi, please. What's your question?
It was about the false wall you spoke about. Good evening, everybody. So what if you feel that? What if your false wall is that maybe you don't like short guys?
Okay. Who is that? So don't judge here. Please don't judge here. Some people have a definition of how their children will be. If you're already short, you know that
No.
risk.
It's everybody should like what they like. Nobody should fight them on that.
Yes, I've already told someone that I don't like his color.
You don't like his skin color?
Anyway.
But I actually like him because he's a good Christian.
It's not the skin color.
He exhibits good fruits of the spirit. But
So which
now,
one? Is it that he's the dark or he's too fair? Let's know how we can help him.
he's not too dark, but he's dark.
Not too dark, but it's dark. It's competing with charcoal of a sort.
I'm dark too. So
okay.
I'm like, I should balance it out.
Aha. So you see, I thank you. Can we all just give a round of applause to Ebube for being the first person to keep it real on the call? Thank you. Ebube, thank you for being so open and transparent and being you. And nobody should judge you for being you. Thank you so much. Part of what this is to also shed some light on some of the ways we think and to, sometimes to corroborate it and sometimes to also help you, balance it. Now, preference is preference.
Mm-hmm.
If you love, like me now, and I'll be honest with you. Let me even give you gist so that you can just see that I'm not judging. I'm feeling your energy today. Like, hey, keep it.
We know the example you are going to give us. But go
Which
ahead
one?
and give us. Go ahead
It's
and give
like
us.
you don't know my example. You
Go
don't know. You
ahead
think you
and
know.
give
You
us.
see? So I remember when I was in university and I was a student union leader, and there was this lady that we were in class together. We were in class together. We were also in choir together. Then we were now in student union government together. And those were pretty much like the three triangles of my educational existence at that time. The last one, of course, would be the library. So you would always find me in one of those three or those four spaces. And four out of three, this girl was there. And I just know that she takes a liking to me. But it was like, hey, she's going to buy lunch. She says, "Well, do you want me to grab lunch?" I'm like, hey, fine. Yes, I'll send her money. I'll give her money. She'll pay. Sometimes she says, I don't. When I'm also going, I do the same thing. So it was platonic in my eyes. Until this day, I was at the student union office and I was reading, and she comes and she was it was just me and her, but it was an open space, free entry into the office, so safe, of course. And she comes and she says, Olumide, there's something I need to tell you, blah, blah, blah. So I thought she was actually worried, So I understand when people really like you friend zone into blindness. That was exactly what it was of me. And I'll tell you why the friend zone was easy to zone. And she comes and she tells me how she loved me, how she really feels we can work, blah, 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 blah. And to God who made me, I could not see it. And I'll tell you why. Now, she was very much on the plus side. And I didn't, or I can't say I don't because that ship has sailed. And at that time of my life, I never saw myself with a plus size person. I was not even this big. So before you say that, hey, you where they talk, I wasn't this big. You want to see how I look like? Go and check my feed. Go and see the picture of me and Papa. Anyways, but I just didn't see it. I couldn't see the reality. And she was not Yoruba, and I know my mom was going to be about that whole Yoruba P. And at that time in my life, I told God that I was going to do university without a relationship, because I really just wanted to focus and concentrate and really gain all that I could gain from Covenant University. So the girl I really liked, God, I was not going to date her because God told me, Olumide, you will not date this girl. So it was a case of if God can take from me my choice, I ain't saying nobody. And she said that, and I'm like, oh my God, just before I was able to say, I don't feel that way, she stormed out of the office crying, and I had to run after her, lest they think that I've raped somebody's child. And eventually, of course, some people saw her and they just told him they don't want children, and they went to her and they, spoke to her. She calmed down. I tried to talk to her. And I said, we'll still be friends, blah, 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 blah. It didn't work out. Fun story. She's one of my best friend's wife now. Like, I look at both of them and I'm like, look at life. But the reason why I couldn't commit then first was because of the physique. Later, then all those other things. So why am I trying to say? I'm not trying to speak at you or come from a pedestal of I can't relate. I know what it feels like when you genuinely have a physical spec. And it isn't a bad choice. When it becomes unhealthy is if your physical spec has the ability to cloud your other more important core values. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So, if you say that this guy genuinely likes you and you like him, now you want to ask yourself, why do you like him? Leave height, leave caramel, leave he doesn't have long hair, doesn't have a goatee. Leave all those things away. What are the intrinsic things that make you like him? Because at some point, you may have to do a trade off. And the trade off is to say, you know what, alternative for gone, I will pick this over this if I have to choose. If I have one that has everything, great. But if I don't have one that has everything, this one that he has, does he make more sense to me than the other? So if you say, oh, you're already not so tall and you desire children, because that's really what I feel a lot of people think about. I want a guy that is tall so that, my children will not be dwarfs. Okay, valid point. You're dark, you want someone that is slightly fair so that your children do not look like off NEPA, fair point. But the question I want to ask is, okay, if I do not have a fair guy, can this guy give me maybe dark children, but wonderful children? can I build a family with this guy and have dark-skinned, beautiful children? Or would this be such a deal breaker that I would not be able to live with myself, seeing that my children are dark? So you now have to weigh it. Now, if he loves you and you are sure that he really does, you want to now ask yourself, if in another 5 years, I don't find a guy that loves me this much, but is fairer than him, would I feel like I have lost this guy? Or would I feel like, whatever will be? If you can feel that feeling of loss, if this guy goes, then it means that somewhere within your heart, the love you feel for him has the ability to withstand his complexion. Then another thing you want to say is it that that complexion well, I don't personally think of, I don't endorse bleaching because of the harmful effect to the skin. Is it kind of person that, okay, though he's dark, is he good looking? Does it compensate in other things? Like for me, I was chubby, but clothes, I knew how to wear clothes that really look good on me. So it was easy for PI. That okay, though he's not slim to the teeth, but he cooks well. He uses good deodorant. He smells like $1 million. So does he also complement in some of the things that you know that genuinely he does not have control over? So that is also something that you want to look at. Akarinani, you want to say serve?
It's clear that wants to say something. There was a video that
Okay.
I saw on Instagram where forgotten his name now. The couple, he's chubby. He and his wife, they're Christian. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. And he was explaining how you select a person: body, soul, spirit. That's what a human being is made up of. So when you meet someone, you have to analyze it first from spirit, then soul, then body. Physical
Okay.
attraction is important, but you cannot see a man who ticks all the boxes, spiritual soul, and say, oh, because he's not tall enough or because he's light skinned, you will not go with him, or you would not try, because in life, a lot of things change. A fat person can become slim. A slim woman can become fat. She'll get pregnant, she'll add weight. What are you going to do about that? A black man, God forbid anything happens, hot water pours on him, he becomes different colors. What are you going to do about that? Physical, attraction is great. But when I look at my own list, when I, was writing, oh, I want a basketballer, I want a dark skin, I want a, cool. The man I married is almost my height. He was much slimmer when I met him. Both of us would have looked like kids. But now he's added weight, his chest is big and everything, looking like a snack. This is not how he looks like when we were dating. Time always changes. Time always changes a lot
So
of
are you
things.
saying a born again Christian should
So
not have spec?
I'm not saying don't have spec, but do not prioritize it over the other two parts that are in fact, that are most important. You see a kind man, but you say, oh, he's because his fashion sense is not bomb. We see all these videos on, those pop the balloon videos where physical attraction, obviously, a man walks into the room, there are 10 women, and they start popping before the man even opens his mouth. They pop the balloon because his shoe does not match the color of his shokoto. That's it's very myopic, because you can change fashion. A man that currently is growing his hair, right, is at that phase in his life. He's growing his hair. It doesn't look attractive to you. But guess what? Tomorrow he can decide, okay, this hair thing is not my vibe anymore. And he cuts it off. All of a sudden, it's attracted to you. You have to see past all that. The man I married, I never thought would ever braid his hair ever in his life. He went through a phase, braided his hair. He got over it. There was a time he
Why do
bought.
I feel like you guys are unearthing a lot of juice today?
So I think that there's some things that are cool, but please maybe consider it as, okay, can this thing change over time? If it can change, then it's not so important. That's my point of view.
Thank you very much. Aka, do you want to chime in? So
No,
that I
sir.
give you...
No, sir. Our resident doctor has spoken. I approve everything she says.
Oh my God. Okay. So I'm saying in the comment section, Somebody say height cannot change. Yes. So what Pastor Bimbo will tell you is there are certain things that you
Sorry,
must tell yourself.
Pio, before you say something, so sorry, sir. I was also going to talk about that. I wanted to say that you will marry a man that both of you are tall, but your great grandfather, all of them were short. You see, genes, it will catch up with you in front. You never know. You never know. All of a sudden, your kids are. Why do you see a lot of short parents and their kids are tall? Where did the tall genes come from?
Is the spirit of the short people that say you think you avoid me? I'm coming for your kids. Oh my God, this is so funny. Genetics honestly can play a fast one on you. Like, but if see, guys, the truth of the matter is there's even just some things that genes or no genes, you can't change. I'll give you an example now. Imagine someone that is albino, but is a sweetheart to the core, and he checks up on every single thing. So you would tell me that you would rather a I don't want to even call them regular because every skin is God's complexion. You choose someone that is non-albino, but you know that this person does not equate to the same level of this person's soul growth and spirit growth. The challenge there is when the challenges of the soul starts to happen. My dear brother and sister, lick the skin. Oh. When the challenges of the spirit comes and this person is unequipped, lick that body. Let that licking of body solve the problem. Because what you have done is you have put something that is lightweight as priority over something that is heavyweight. Am I saying that you should not have spec? I will tell you something. Imagine the way you have built yourself in the Lord now. You have walked in the spirit. You have said no to all manner of temptations. You went to school. You burnt the midnight candle. One guy will now come and say, why does your note look like Nathaniel Bassey's trumpet, Seth? Eh? Then you will now say that just so that you can fit the bill of that man, you will now go and do surgery for that nose. Ah, auntie, there are many things that you don't know that you still do surgery for. Imagine that. Sorry, I've taken I've put me on the matter. Imagine that. So sometimes I feel like God gives us the privilege to have preference, but your preference must be subject to the counsel of his will. I am one person that by reason of selection in my first desire, first skin was it. But by reason of God's knowing what I need, I could do without fair skin. And now, till date, I'm talking about next year, me and my wife will be 10 years. I will still look at my wife and I'm like, gosh, this inner beauty radiates. I've seen the face every day. So it's not about the face that has changed. It's not about the body that has changed. But there is a glow in my wife from my inside that I'm just like, this is treasure. I remember days when me and now we are outside or we are out of the country. And we're just looking at ourselves and like, Olumide, how do we fit like gloves? Like how? Who did it? Who do us? Who do and we are just filled with gratitude. But this could have been me saying that fair or nothing. Give me Scotland or I die, in the words of Kelechi. So I have learned that as much as the Lord gives you the ability to have preference, it must be subject to the counsel of his will. Some of you now, your preference was not what you studied in school now. But guess what? Are you not succeeding with something else? Some of you, with what you studied in school, are you not doing something else? So you see that preference sometimes is subjective. Preference says that I believe that if I have this thing, I will be happier. But in most cases, if you mix the desires of the world or if you mix other people's desire, sometimes you feel like if you have their desire, you'll be happy. And I'll give you an example. Is it that there is a world whereby if I married a plus size person, I would genuinely not be happy? No. If PI came in the package of a plus size person, it may take me slightly longer to accept, but guess what? The same way God could convince me over fair, he will convince me over big. Because he knows that that is what I need. Do you understand? And some of us also get caught up in constructs. I want a tall guy because I will tell you something. Every reason that you have for the reason why you choose somebody, layer it on the floor and do a test over it. That if this thing does not come to play, would I genuinely be unhappy? If I marry someone that is at the same height with me, does it mean that I will really be unhappy? Does it really mean that I have settled for a life of failure? Put some of these things. Some of you is that I don't want a girl that is bowed. Peleo, the ones that their hair is like mop stick, inside of it may not have much, even though outside of it has a lot of hair. So you want to ask yourself, if he has hair but does not have sense, am I okay? If he does not have hair but he has sense, am I okay? So you just want to say, if he has hair and he has sense, perfect. So for Akkad, I said, is it that Christians can't have specs? No, you can. But I'm trying to tell you that if you are privileged that God aligns your spec with his desires, fantastic. But you may not always be so privileged to have your specs, because let me say something to you. You are the one that is human. God is all spirit. So the first thing on the mind of God is spiritual connectivity. God is all spirit. God is not looking. The one that is short, it came from him. The one that is tall, it came from him. So can you see how God does not have bias towards whether he's short or he is the manufacturer of all these things. But the one that he's really interested in is, does this one have my nature? Because that one is a choice thing. It's a choice thing. Does this one have my nature? Can this one, if I say yes to, if I give this one a vision, will this one carry it out? Or is this one stuck in, I'm a tall glass of handsomeness, nobody can talk to me? This one's beauty will cover him because he's past handsome. He's now beautiful. So according to God, all sizes are his creator. Yes, some people now do a bad job by overeating and becoming a glutton. Now that's one, you know that he can do something about it. He can watch his weight. He can get on a treadmill. He can have lifestyle modifications. But I'm talking about the one that he cannot change. The one that is slightly bow-legged. What do we do about that? You need to move beyond what you can do something about. Now, thank God for surgery. If you have money and it is safe and you can do a bow leg reconstruction, why not if not? But if you don't have the money and you know that the money itself, if you even have it to use it for something else, you want to ask yourself, okay, am I the kind of person that if this person is great to me, I will be ashamed of him outside? And you know one thing I found out? The way God does it, I don't know why. Everybody has one thing that they are not proud of bodily. I've spoken to a very fine girl before that her legs, she told me that she has yam legs. And for the longest time, she was not wearing skirts. She will only wear trousers. And this girl is fine. I've spoken to another girl that is so pretty, but she keeps complaining about certain spots on her face. Only her sees those spots. Me, I know they see them. But she says, the way God does, there's always something that is there that makes you understand that you are a product of mercy. And if you are not the one that now control yourself, well, we leave that to God. So I hope you guys understand what I've said. A lot of comments have now, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la. Okay, so I'm seeing some questions here. So I'm going to take questions now from the chat, and I'm going to take questions that were anonymous. So I'm going to take some questions here. Honestly, I wish I could chime on all the things you guys are chatting in the group. I just want to be sure that I don't miss out on any question. Yes. Okay, yes, I have covered, I've gotten there. So the first question somebody said here is, what do we do about parent issues with tribe? You are Igbo, but your parents don't want you to be with a Yoruba person. You know you really like him, you know you really like this person, but it's an issue from your parents. They believe is probably matchmaking. No, they believe in probably matchmaking you. How do you win the fight with your parents? Fantastic. Thank you very much for this question. The first thing is parents assume that they have the best plans for us. And while in some contexts they actually do, for some of them they reflect their own mistakes on us. So one of the things I tell people is before you go into a battle with your parents, especially when it comes to their choice, their preference, their the way they see you? Have you shown yourself to be responsible? I have had to manage parents that see their children still as children, but imagine that they can make adult decisions. When a parent does not see that you have attained a level of maturity, they will still probably want to lord themselves over you. And there are certain areas that you can show that you are mature. How do you handle yourself? How do you take care of yourself? In your conversations, can they pick sense? Or everything now so shout, talk, insult? Yeah. Can they see that you unearth wisdom? Can they see that you are intellectually sound? Can they see from your choices that you are able to pick what is good for yourself? In the few times that you told them that, oh, mommy, I don't want to eat, have they seen you extremely malnourished such that they have to now come and say, you will kill yourself? Oh, yeah, let me provide food for you. You will say that, oh, mommy is taking care of me. But somewhere behind mommy's mind, mommy is also receiving the signal that this one does not know how to take care of himself. They still need me to take care of her. Now you allow your mother to do all that. But when it now comes to the decision of your marriage, you now feel that your mother will be silent. Never, nay, not in Israel. So you must first, he that must come to that type of conversation or that table must first ensure that you are able to prove that you can actually handle this future that they are afraid of. The second thing you want to do is to also ask yourself, what are my parents' fears? One thing I've learned is if I come to my mom and I'm able to nicely articulate her fears, she gives me audience. I don't just go and say, Mommy, this is what I want. This, I say, Mommy, I know that you don't want me to get married to someone that I cannot understand their culture. I know that you may feel that I will struggle if I'm dating someone that his family has a different mindset to the way we think. Now, when I say all those things, it already brings a guard down, or it brings his guard down, and he starts to say, okay, I can see that this one has sense. I can see that this one is not just pushing everything I'm saying away. So let me now see, has he now been able to hack it? So when I'm not telling them that, mad, but the funny thing about it is that though Kelechi is originally Igbo, he has spent 95% of his life in Lagos. He's practically a Yoruba boy. He's practically a Yoruba boy, mommy. His parents, I've had the opportunity of being with them. They are not those Igbo people that you think, but mommy, you know what? I'm willing to give it a bit more time so that I can get to study and know them, because you know the kind of argument she's going to come with. So you tell them, Mommy, I'm still willing to give it a bit of time. But Mommy, I can also tell you something that, I know that you have the best interest for me. But can I say something, Mommy? I think I genuinely have found this person. And I think that we can give him a chance. You see, when you start to have conversations from that mindset, even if one of the parents is still very, very, stop it, what do you know? Kilomademo, what does the child know? One of them, God has always done it in such a way that one of them will take your side and will call you to the side and say, see, you spoke well. Let us have a conversation. Let's see what we can do. And from let's see what we can do, your parents, one of them now starts to help you to see how they can soften the heart of the other. But you see, when you come like a bull in a china shop, well, I don't like what you're saying. You see, I just get married now, and none of you can do anything about it. Yeah, should be if I get pregnant, all of you before. When you say that, you are only affirming the fact that you are a child. You are only affirming the fact that you are not, you are still bereft of knowledge. So you need to understand that these people that the Lord has put as institutions in your life, they need to be sure that you are able to take that decision. And how you do it is by conversation. And who will have this type of challenge is not the kind of person that will not want to give some time. Because I've seen people that will brashly love up and get married. I've had cases of people even denounce their parents and get married. At the end of the day, you would still wish that your parents were there. You would still wish that they were in your life with you. And if you've explored all this and if they still do not budge, I would strongly advise that you have a counselor. See your pastor and let your pastor see what they can do to intervene. All right. If anybody wants to chime in on that, you can raise your hand. If not, I will go to the next question, because now we are now getting a lot of questions anonymously. All right. Glory to Jesus. So if you want to add or you want to do a rebuffer, you can just put your hand up and I'll call you. If not, I'll just move on to the other questions. I have some stories that I'm going to read to you guys that I read them and they really blessed my life. Okay, so sorry, I'm having to read through the questions, and because they are anonymous, I cannot tell anybody I can't delegate it to anybody. Yes, I see the next question. It says, Pio, good evening, and thank you for this conversation. More and more, I am seeing that to make a marriage work, it's really us working in and displaying the fruits of the Spirit like God has asked us. Pio, how do I work effectively through fruits I am not displaying? E.g., for me, I know I don't display. Oh my God, I was just reading that somebody's question came in. E.g., I know that I do not display patience. Yes, I know I do not easily display patience, and I genuinely can see where that will be. I genuinely can see that this will be an issue in a place like marriage. So, working with God, do I wait till I have done the work? No. So, this is what we say: God does not desire perfection as much as he desires progress. God does not desire perfection as much as he desires progress. That should be a good balance. He desires perfection, but he desires more of progress. So the first thing I want to congratulate you for is that you have identified a weak area in your life. The next thing I'm going to ask you is, number two, how are you feeding the knowledge of that area to get better at it? Now, if you are the kind of person that you know you struggle with patience, the first thing you want to ask yourself is, why do I get easily irritable, or why do I get easily apprehensive? A lot of times you find out that sometimes it's fear of failing. Sometimes you find out that it's fear of being seen a certain way. If you are able to overcome that fear, you will be more patient. I'll give you an example. Something happened to me today. Um, my mother just retired, and I'm the only child. So ever so often I'm checking in. I just want to be sure that she's okay, blah, 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 blah. And they called me today that she had a minor accident on the road, and I was so it literally brought the fear back of my, oh my God, my head went into the many things. By the way, don't worry, she's fine. It was not a biggie. My mind has gone into so many things. Oh my God, should I have told her to come to my house? My head just went swimming. But I was at the office and the Holy Spirit said, "They calm down." So the person called me, gave me the information. I said, okay, please do this, please, da, 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 da. And I directed them very calmly what to do. I sent some money, blah, 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 blah. Because I know that I can be a very, very apprehensive person. Because I know I can jitter. Because I know that my first instinct or reaction is fear, trepidation, and worry. Immediately I heard that thing, the scripture, the Spirit of God had to superimpose over me. So, Olumide, you will calm down over this one. You will not blow it out of proportion. So I finished up what I was trying to do at the office, left, got there, saw the scene, saw at the hospital, blah, 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 blah. I was boiling because while we were doing all that, my mother was still saying, allow me go, I'm okay. I'm like, see this woman, let's even get some tests done. Let me show that everything is A and okay, And I was boiling, and while I was boiling, I was going to the doctors to get information, blah, blah, blah. Those people were like, why are you angry? Why are you really angry? And I told them I'm angry because I'm afraid. I'm afraid that if anything happens to this woman, I will feel like I never did enough. So I need her to put her stuff in order so that she doesn't put me under pressure. And then she said, who takes care? Who watches over? Who takes care when you are asleep? When you travel abroad and you are not even in the remotest state of where she is, who is responsible? So can you calm down? Can you cast your cares upon me before I care? And from that place, I had to calm down. And that word comforted me. And then I could now, dispense empathy towards her. And when we were done, we had a frank talk. Okay, mommy, I feel this and this. You should have done this. I should have done this. And she was like, you just came in and you were just upset. So treating me like a child. I said, Jesus Christ. What am I trying to say, guys? I'm saying that when you notice that there are certain areas of your life that you have not grown in the fruit of the Spirit, number one, that has already solved the problem. Number two, the Holy Spirit is the one that helps you. Now, would you say that because I've not fully developed in the area of anxiety now, I should not love my mother, or I should run away from my mother? No. But every day you get better. So with your significant other, when you see that you are displaying certain traits, number one, communicate it to the person so that the person does not have a root shock and the person can cut you some slack when you still act a little out of character. And in those days when you act of character, if I were you, show that you are working on it. The biggest problem in relationship is that people identify their challenges, but they feel that by identifying it, it is cool. No, identifying it is just telling me that there is a rat in the house, but it also means that we need to kill the rats. We recognize that, okay, we can't leave food open on the table because there is rodent infestation. But does it now mean that we should now be okay with it? No. So every day I must see steps that show that you understand that there is a rat in the house, and you are not, number one, preventing the fact that rats are coming in, and the ones that are in, you are preventing the fact that they can stay. So that is the answer. You must show steps. You can even tell your spouse, if it's a person that is, if you are married or dating one that is really, really concerned about your personal growth, you can tell him that, you know what, can you give me insights where I have acted impatiently, so that if those things replay, I can do better. Can you also alert me or nudge me when I start to show impatience, so that I can quickly recalibrate? You see, that is it. I'll tell you something. I used to have a caustic tongue, but one of the things the Holy Spirit helped me to do was the gift of silence. For years, the Holy Spirit helped me by refraining my tongue. So now, when things happen to me, I'm not so quick to open my mouth. In fact, the first thing that happens to me is I just go numb first. And within that numbness, the Holy Spirit has the ability to quickly invade my heart and quickly bring me to a place of saneness. So I hope that I was able to help someone. I hope so. Yeah. Maka, what did Igbo do to you? Don't worry, it's also the same thing with other tribes. Igbo people too do not. In fact, there are two types of Igbos that don't even like each other. So it's not just Igbos. Yoruba is the same thing. Hausa is the same thing. So that's that. I hope that I was able to help. If you also want to speak into that, you can please raise your hand and I will call you. What other question do I see here? My question is the premise of physical attraction you are chasing, is it actually yours? My question is, the premise of physical attraction you are chasing, is it actually yours? Which is also possible. Sometimes we inherit physical attraction. I think I shared this a long time ago, that when you look at your attraction, you are actually a function of your exposure. What you're attracted by, and I'll give you an example. There are some of you that if I actually serve you sushi, you will never like it. Now, sushi is either uncooked or semi-cooked fish. I know people like Kaka will come and set me straight now. You know, I didn't grow up in an environment where sushi was readily available. So sushi for me will be an acquired taste, meaning that I will have to learn to love it. But there are some people that grew up in China, and sushi is the way me I see plantain. And I'm like, look at this golden, lovely, brown looking plantain. And they're like, what is this? I remember when my line manager came, no, what not my line manager, a colleague came from I think Paris. And we took them out and we took them to like a restaurant and we like gave them different stuff. And we gave them suya, and it was not even really spicy, according to what I call spicy. But this auntie turned red though. Hey, we had to literally pump water into her. And this was the suya me I'm chewing and say, so chewy, so nice. So you see that sometimes our attractions are based on our environment, our experiences. So I found out that the very first girl that I really, really had a strong infatuation for was very slim. And that now became the premise of every other girl that I liked, because somewhere behind my mind was trying to replicate the emotions I felt to that first girl. Now, my wife is not as slim as that person. My wife is not also as tall as that person. But my wife is everything I want and more. So sometimes you find out that what you even call attraction is just a construct. So if you're the kind of person that you have now also opened yourself to a lot of Korean movies, or you've opened yourself to a lot of the internet or to Mills and Booms, it shapes your perception about what an attractive person should be. Another thing that you must note about attraction is most times people judge attraction by how other people appreciate the material. I'll give you an example. You go to a store now and you see something that is good, but you now call a friend and you say, "Guy, what do you think about that?" Like, "Oh my God, this is so nice. Ooh, I love the colors. This is banging." All of a sudden, somewhere in your heart starts to feel like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Okay, I think this is nice. I think this is nice." That also happens. So you find out that a lot of us, the lens of attraction that we feel we own is actually borrowed. It's actually what somebody had validated to you. Is that way your friend came gushing over a guy in the room when she was telling you about her new boyfriend when you were a single Pringle that made you feel like, the day we miss out, we'll get this kind of fine boy. I'm going to be this happy. Other people are going to be this happy for me. They're going to be like, "Oh, mom, Olumide, you have cut the catch. Oh, baby girl, in fact, you are the." So you find out that sometimes our minds, because our mind sometimes just wants to replicate moments of our past, it brings that vision before you, and it feels like if you don't have that thing, you will never know true peace. If you check with the Holy Spirit, you will find out that that is a false fall. All right. Next question. I'm not seeing any hand up, so I'm just gonna go on with the questions. Blah 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 blah. Mm, let me see. Okay, I think I picked on this. Uh, Somebody say, "Oh, height can change. There is surgery for height increment. Please do it at owner's risk." Don't say lick the skin. My brother, it's the truth. Because you must stay true to what your choice is. Yeah. So, like me now, when I go to a restaurant I don't know and I look at the menu, and out of all the confusion, I finally choose one. Then other people choose. Then stuff now starts to come out. And they now my own menu now looks like something that it was the leftover of somebody else's food. Guess what I do? I tell myself, Olumide, you chose this. You will love it. You will eat it. You would not waste this money. But some people don't do that. E.g., I will not mention their name or her name. If my own food is finer than hers, the next thing is, "Oh yeah, Olumide, let me see your food. Let me eat it. Oh, yeah, Olumide, let's swap. Olumide, take some of my own. Let me take some of your own." Auntie, stick to your decision. You made the decision. Own it. I'm that type of person, right? Of course, what's the pleasure? The pleasure is the fact that she has my second house, so she can. My food is her food. Yeah, but I'm just saying that when you make certain decisions based on certain parameters, you need to own it. So you want to ask yourself, if push comes to shove, can I say the singular most important decision about this person is that he's clean, his skin is popping, or her skin is glowing? Because when the challenges of life comes, if peradventure she had not developed herself in those other areas, you will find peace with the thing that you married and with the choice that you made. And if you know you cannot, then maybe you want to relook at your choice now. All right. When money touches a man, reketabayos katabali. Hey, yes, the skin can get lighter. It depends. Yes, preference is subjective, very true. Let me see. Okay, I think there's a question here, anonymous. Somebody says, "What's the divide between trusting God in faith for a partner and fantasizing? I catch myself blushing at the thought of my future partner, and I consciously have to stay focused when the thoughts come. I imagine the sort of conversations we will have and how our home will be, relating with my in-laws and even my children. Could it be an obsession? Because it feels so real sometimes. For some reason, I believe my marriage is closer than I know. And I want to know the divide between believing in faith and fantasizing. Let me add that I am very single." Thank you very much for this question. I'm going to answer it by something that I learned from a very good friend of mine when he was preaching. He said there's something called the law of imagination. A lot of us, God actually, and it's something that I would have, by God's grace, the ability to teach in the next couple of weeks or months as God gives me utterance. A lot of us, we underplay the power of imagination. It's one of the most amazing tools. And I'll give you an example, scripturally speaking. The Bible says that when God wanted to handle a very tough issue, that was going on in the life of Abraham. Abraham was a man that had already followed God, was ready to do God. But one day he came and said, God, you are telling me that you bless me. Am I going to get all this blessing and give it to my servant? You have still not answered the one big thing. My child, I need a child. And the Bible says the next thing the Lord tells him to do is to do what? Go and see the stars. Go and see the sand in the seashore. And God sets him on a journey of what? Imagination. My dear sister, the Lord just set you on a journey of imagination. What is an infatuation or what is an obsession? An obsession is when you take inordinate things that do not matter in the scheme of things, and you now start to over fantasize on those things. Meaning that you take, me and him, we are just going to be painting the town red. That's great. It's secondary. It's good. But what is it that you are fantasizing about? What is your imagination set on? Maybe I did not give maybe that was not a very good analogy. I'll try and find another one for you. What are you fantasizing on? What are you imagining? Does your imagination align with the perfect will of God? If you're telling me that you're seeing how you guys are going to be taking care of your children, how you guys are going to walk on the park, how you guys are going to have time for your kids, how you are going to, that is a good imagination. The Bible also talks about it. It says, if, anything that is pure, anything that is loving, everything that is of good report, if there be anything that is praiseworthy, what do? Think on these things. So there are certain things the Lord wants you to imagine. There are certain things the Lord wants you to fantasize about. There are certain things the Lord wants you to envisage. There are certain things the Lord wants you to have in your vision board. So the power of imagination enables you to start to ask yourself, what type of home do I want to build? I want a home where my husband will not be the one that when I say, let's pray, he's saying, you pray, I'll say amen. I want someone that we can pray together. You see, that already is galvanizing how you would choose. So for someone like you, if the person does not have prayer as a necessity, you want to be careful to check. So I dare say, you are not fantasizing if these thoughts are aligned with the things of God. Now, there are some other things that are, maybe I cannot find anyone at the moment, that are just vain, that if that one does not happen, you will not die. But there are some, like for me, I wanted a woman that, number one, I could be friends with. And why was that important for me? The girl that I was liking before PI, though I liked her, I couldn't really say that we were friends. It was a case of, you're a good boy, she's a good girl, you guys will make a good couple. But I couldn't really say that me and her were friends. I still had to do quite some level of packaging to get to her, I wanted her to see me in a certain type of way. So by the time that thing went bust, the next one, I wanted someone that we could be friends. And lo and behold, me and Pia will talk for hours. And guess what, guys? Me and Pia, another thing that blew my mind about Pia was I was comfortable talking God and I did not feel like as if I was doing too much. Then I was also comfortable talking regular stuff, music, movies, career, and I also did not feel like I was doing too much. So I saw a woman that I could have all-round conversation with. Do you understand me? I saw a woman that could hold a conversation. That if I put her in the midst of my friends, she would not just be looking like, toothbrush. I saw someone that could stir up stimulating conversations with my friend. I saw a woman that was daring. She had a thought process. She had her perspective, and she was not afraid to share it. And she was not bossy about it because she was also still teachable. And she wants to hear your side of the story, and she wanted to corroborate and collaborate with you. Those were huge stuff for me. So I anticipated and I fantasized about those things, if we were to use the word fantasy, but they were actually me building in my bank of imagination. So you want to ask yourself, what are you imagining? Use the lens of, I'll find that scripture and I'll share with you. Whatever things are trustworthy, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, think of these things. God does not want you not to think about them. Yeah. And for me, what is even important is, if what you are thinking about is things that aid the kingdom of God, perfect stuff, things that, can propagate the glory of God, oh, those are good stuff. Those are good stuff, There's some of that type of thoughts that I would not encourage, Some of those people in the world, we will have 15 rounds. It's a very, very lopsided thinking. You cannot say that the entire reason why you want to marry God's child is so that you can be sleeping with her from morning to night. It only tells you that your priorities are wrong. So there are some that are inordinate thoughts. There are thoughts that are fueled by the lewdness of people's mind, the darkness of people's mind. So if you know that that is not yours, you understand. If your thought is, when I marry Omo, we go show them. We are going to press neck. You already know that that one may not have God's backing, because God will not create a neck that He wants you to now press. You understand? Yeah, we heal, we don't bleed. So yeah, that's that on that. I'm going to take another one. Yes, and because you're still single, don't worry. As at the time that Abraham was gazing into the stars, he was still barren, or he was still childless. But the story as we know it today was the fact that, or is the fact that Abraham has become the father of faith and the father of many nations. So please hold on there. If your desires and your aspirations or imaginations are God sponsored, just like Abraham, you would have your own amazing husband that fits that bill. All right. Thank you very much. I like that. It says, after a while, you would realize that these our specs are not that deep. Yes, very true. Yes, I have a question here. It says, good evening, Pio. Please, what areas of life should a person have defined, and what level before thinking of wanting a relationship? Let me take that again. Please, what areas of life should a person have defined, and to what level before thinking of wanting a relationship? Beautiful, I like that. What are particular practical boxes to self-check before entertaining thoughts of relationship? I like that. You find out that the very concept of God bringing Eve to Adam was what the Bible said, that it was not good for man to be alone. I will create for him a helpmate. So you find out that why did God not want Adam to be alone? Number one, Adam had ticked the box of work. Adam was working and he needed support. So the first thing I always say is, number one, what is work? Now, work could also be, what is your purpose? What is your calling? What is your vision? You have a clear idea of where you are going. If you're a man, you want to ask yourself, if I'm bringing somebody under my roof, are we going to the same place? Is she going to VI and am I going to Ikorodu? If you guys are not going to the same place, you guys will always fight over transport fare. The next thing you want to ask yourself is, are you emotionally ready? What do I mean by emotionally ready? If you are one person that maybe you've had maybe exes, or you've had a turbulent relationship, or you've had challenges with the relationship subjects, maybe they've served you numerous breakfasts, you want to ask yourself, have I healed, or is this a rebound? The next question you want to ask yourself is, are you going into a relationship because you are lonely? Now, I need to tell you something. You can be alone but not necessarily lonely. The Bible says, and God saw that Adam was alone. He was not lonely. He had the Spirit of God. He had the presence of God. Adam was preoccupied, tending the garden, which was his core assignment. But God, saying that he was tending the garden alone, was when God now said that, let us give him a helpmate. He wasn't lonely. So sometimes I find out that relationship is not the cure for loneliness. The cure for loneliness is actually introspection. Did somebody get that? The cure for loneliness is not a relationship, it's actually introspection. There is a wiring that God has created in your inside that makes you love you and makes you able to cope with you. If you are not able to cope with you and you are longing for another person, when that person comes, that person will not be able to cope with you, because you have put on the table a product that is not finished. And do not forget that the Bible says, two shall become one, two wholes shall become one strong one. So you want to ask yourself, why is it, or do I feel like I'm not whole enough? Now, if you are not whole enough because you have some drama or baggage or issue, it now doesn't mean that you should now put yourself in total solitary confinement. No, you want to ask yourself, how do I build out of this thing? I'll give you an example. When I was in school, one of the reasons why now in retrospect I see that God did not want me get into a relationship was because I had a very strong sexual struggle of masturbation. And that when I got into school, I was just weaning myself off it. And I knew that if I was going to get into a relationship, the thought of sex would be slightly more prevalent than the thoughts of wanting to take care of the person, allowing the person to be their best version of themselves, blah, 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 blah. So it was good that the Lord I don't know the answer, overreading my emotions to tell him that you will not get into a relationship now. That was one of the very few times in my life where I heard a veto word from the Lord. Me and the girl were walking on the corridor like she was literally waiting for me to pop the question. In fact, later I found out that people had told her that, see, if Olumide does not pop the question, there's another guy that is waiting for you, answer that one. But she really wanted me to date her. And on that day, the Lord said, Olumide, you will not date this girl, you'll be her friend. I see the answer now. Sometimes the Lord prevents you from having a taste of an emotion that you may never be able to come out of. I feel like if I had had a taste of that emotion with that girl, I would have had it as such a strong part of my life that maybe I would not have been able to see PI, because guess what? She was fair. Guess what? She was everything that I want bodily, but she was not what I needed spiritually. But I would have been so yoked to the body that it may become difficult for me to see PI and like her. I could like PI because as at that time, there was nobody that I had strong feelings for that were my spec. So when God brought her my way, I could easily let go. So sometimes you see, God prevents you from certain places because He knows that if you go with your desire and you actually collect that thing that you want, that thing will be an X that you may never be able to shake. It was so pivotal for me that even when I left university, and I'm like, God, should be I'm out of university now, I can date, I can do whatever I want. I still went looking for that girl. But by that time, she had gotten into a relationship. The next thing I knew, she had done some stuff in those relationships. I was like, well, maybe not this girl anymore. But thank God, because if I'd gotten into a relationship with that girl while in school, it may have been a harder yoke. Or if the Lord would have actually wanted to put me part on the right path, it would have it would have actually been a severance, meaning that maybe me and the girl would not be talking now. Maybe we would have hated each other. Maybe something would have happened that would made us be at loggerheads. But glory be to God, I'm married to my wife. She's married to her husband, but we are still, platonic distant friends. I've not spoken to her in years, but I don't see her and I hate her. But my love bank is being filled by the one I'm married to. So sometimes you see the Lord can withhold certain things from you just so that He can protect you. So you want to ask yourself, are you carrying any emotional trauma, baggage, anything you know that will still reflect the fact that you have not fully healed? It's important that you check and analyze. The next thing you want to ask is your core values. Have you found your core values? What are your deal breakers? What are the things that your deal breakers are excerpts from the things that you want to do? Did you hear what I said? Your deal breakers are excerpts from the things you want to do. So I'll give you an example. If I believe that God is going to use me as a very strong voice in my generation, part of what that will demand from me is that I take the work of integrity. And what that would mean is that my deal breakers will not be to be yoked to somebody that does not have integrity. So you see that from my purpose, I can extract my deal breakers. So when you have all those things set up, then the last and the most important part, you take all these things like a child that has done an assignment and you take it to your parent, which is your Holy Spirit. I say, Holy Spirit, these are my thoughts, these are my views. Lead me aright. Help me. If there are thoughts that I've still not come in contact with, show me. If there are areas that I'm still blindsided to, show me. If there are things that I want to, but I'm still not, show me. Then the Bible says, in all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will what? Direct your path. And part of directing your path is to tell you that this one is not for you, or chill a little bit, or don't say yes now, or so say yes to this one. He now starts to direct your path. And if you are one that is discipled in the school of the Spirit, or what the school of the Spirit means, that means you know how to hear the voice of the Holy Spirit. Then you'll be able to see and understand His nudges. When you see a dashing young boy, but you just don't have peace in you, you can tell yourself that, okay, physically check, but maybe I need to just take it slow and get to know. And as God may have you, you now see something that you're like, oh, now I see Holy Spirit. Why He said I should not venture into this, So that is it. So I hope I answered your question. I hope that was practical enough. I'm not seeing hands, so people are now just quiet. Anybody has a question? Okay, I think I've pretty much taken up all the question. I think I have. Okay, there's another question. Another question, sir. I recently identified I may be dealing with trauma from recurrent silent treatments, which results in intense anxiety attacks. Because of this, I'm canceling relationship advances because it seems I should go through a healing process first. Is it a good enough reason to cancel advances? Thank you, sir. Well, I would say do not cancel. I would say that number one, you've identified it. I would say, you know what, genuinely build friendship, which is also something that I've noticed about our generation. We sometimes can be very white or black. Somebody comes to you and you can sense that he's advancing towards you. You can just say that, you know what, I'm not saying that you don't like me. I would like us to be friends. It doesn't have to be anything deep. Let's just be friends. And what friendship means is don't do friendship with exclusivity, because friendship with exclusivity is relationship. So friends, regular stuff, nothing too intense. If it's intense, draw down the pedal, or reduce the effort on the pedal, or whatever it's called. But build genuine friendship. It's amazing that I've seen people that are not able to hold good friendship. And I feel that there's power in good friendship with both sexes, except when it now becomes too close for comfort, and then you now need to sever it. So I would say that good, you've identified that you suffer from anxiety of silence. So you want to ask yourself, what does the word of God say about it? How does the word help you to deal with it? Now, you to yourself, you must be true to yourself. If you know that you've still not dealt with it, and you know that the way you react can make your relationship questionable with somebody, then you know that maybe you're not yet ready to enter into something exclusive. But you now must ask yourself, how do I want to get rid of this? How do I want to grow out of this trauma? The word of God always is a strong tool to deal with trauma, because the Bible says the word of God is quick and powerful, sharper than any double-edged sword, having the ability to divide marrow and bone, and go into the uttermost thoughts of any man. So what it means is the word of God can enable you to find peace that does not allow you become anxious. The word of God is able to make you feel a healthy emotional understanding of yourself, that you don't feel like when people are silent, there is something about to happen. There is war about to happen. There is, hey, maybe he does not like me again. Maybe he has seen something that is not cool with. Hey, all those things disappear when you have the Spirit of God. And I just really want to say something to somebody right now. And as I'm just saying this, I feel the Spirit of the Lord really impress upon my heart. Please, I need you to know that the Holy Spirit is there for you. Somebody, I need you to just know that you are not in this world alone. This very cosmos of should I choose right, should I not choose right, should I have a boyfriend? Before all this construct, there is a helper. There is a sweet spirit. There is a lover. There's one that gets you. There's one that gets you. I was having a conversation with my mom today, and while we were going through that whole what happened, what can we do better, she said, you know the funny thing, this morning I woke up and the Holy Spirit told me that he called her name, and he said, you really need to be careful today. There's something in front of you, but don't worry, I've handled it. And I'm looking at my mother of over 60 something years, and I'm like, this woman has a tangible relationship with the Holy Spirit. It's so tangible, because she was telling me that, Olumide, I don't know why you are angry with, I don't know why you were angry with me. If there's any reason why, if there's anybody that should be hungry, it's the Holy Spirit, because he told me this morning. I felt that was so sweet. I felt that was so cool that he had told me that today, I should be careful, but I should not worry. He has got me. So while me, I'm there frantic, worried, this woman has a healthy relationship with the Holy Spirit that ensured that what happened to her did not go past what it was. And I'm here giving myself a fit. So I want somebody to know that you can genuinely have love with the Holy Spirit. And not in a spooky way where some people have now made the Holy Spirit like a human being, and just, you can genuinely feel an internal peace where you are like, you know what, I know I'm covered. I know I'm not alone. I know that someone watches over me, and I know that I am not just living my life on my terms. I just wanted somebody to know that he is actually real. He is actually real, right? So, so that makes up the process of healing. And as you start to see, one of the things that you want to ask yourself is, even if you're not in a relationship, in the friendships that you have, do you feel those anxiety when you're with your regular friends? If you are able to win yourself off that, then you know that you're already getting ready to be in a relationship, because your relationship should be 85% agape love and 15% eros, which is the honest truth. If it is more than that, then you guys may really have to be fighting for a lot of distance because your body will just be magneting and magneting. You guys are made, God did not create man for woman just for sex. Let me just tell you that. So you must understand that this person must be someone that if we are not talking sex, we can talk about a world of other things that genuinely pique our interest. So the best litmus test is your regular friends, the married ones, the single ones, the same sex ones. You know, how are you able to manage relationship with them? Do you get anxious when they're silent? If you still get anxious when they're silent, then yeah. I have some people that for a protracted number of months, they don't call me. And I'm like, am I waiting to happen? I don't feel like, have I done anything? Hey, what is it? Oh, hey, have they gotten tired of me? No, no. That shows that I'm still working in my trauma. And when I feel that, what do? I go back to the word of God and say, no, I'm enough because Christ has made me enough. I'm sufficient in Christ's sufficiency. I am a treasure to my world. I am a value added. I'm a value add to my world. I'm an asset. The Lord works through me. I contribute positively to my friends. You know, those things that the Lord has told you about who you are. And you pick up the guy and say, hey, guys, you know what's going on? You don't even know that while you are introspecting and thinking that that person does not love you, God is actually using you to go and talk to that person and evangelize to that person. It is your call that will not make the person like, oh my God, I never knew I needed this. And from that, the person now feels an obligation to always keep in touch with you because you were the one that actually reached out first. And you did not come from a needy place. You came from a full place trying to get that person to that same level of fullness. Did you get that? I hope you did. There's a fantasy want to finish me, and I wrote it down because I know it is inspired. Fantastic. Thank you, Pop Sana. Yes, it's Philippians 4 verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatever is honest, whatever is just, whatever is pure, lovely, good report of any virtue, if there's anything that is praiseworthy, think of these things. Yeah. Another question here. What do you do when you are in a relationship and your partner is not 100% in? Your partner always plays safe, and if the relationship will end at any moment, sorry, your partner always plays safe as if the relationship will end at any moment and they have nothing to lose. I will tell you, anybody that comes into a relationship with that level of skepticism is not fully invested in that relationship. Let me tell you something about relationship that you must understand. Relationship is you doing a gallew, you taking a jump, a healthy jump. I'll tell you the truth. As much as you can plan, strategize, have an understanding of the person, a relationship is still a work of faith. Marriage is still a work of faith. It's often said it's the only work that you do that they give you a certificate before you do the work. It's still a work of faith. So if somebody is skeptical about it, and I've not been able to say, you know what, at this point, I believe I have done all that I need to do from a mental perspective, from an emotional perspective, from a spiritual perspective. Now, Jesus, take the wheel. That person, even when they get into marriage, they would always live like as if they're about to take a step out. And that would mean that you always have to overcompensate. I tell somebody something, or I tell people something, I say, see, the reason why, for me, I do not joke with the pillar of trust, and I feel like in any marriage or any relationship, trust is the biggest pillar that holds marriage, is because everything I'm going to say, I may not show you in order for you to believe it. When I wake up every morning and I tell my wife, baby, I love you, does she know whether I have serious thoughts in my mind? Does she know whether the I love you is because I want something? No, but she believes it because faith is the substance of things hoped for, and sometimes the evidence of things not seen. And she believes that, and she corroborates her belief by the many things that I've done consistently to show that I am what I said. But essentially, the first I love you I'm going to tell a woman is going to be an act of faith. Because guess what? If you feel that I love you because I gave you a gift, I can love you also. I can give you a gift also because I want to kill you. I'm reading a book here, and it was telling me about how a lady, went. In fact, let me read this story for you. It was a very, very touching story. Yeah. Where is it now? So, well, basically, I can be nice, and I have an ulterior motive. That's what I'm trying to say. I genuinely can. So you will find out that sometimes it's still at best a work of faith, but that's why we tell you that as much as possible, do things whereby when you want to bank on faith, your faith also has works. All right. So that being said, if this person is always skeptical, you want to ask them. Number one, there are certain times where somebody is trying to convince themselves that they can manage a deal breaker. For people that are caught up in that web, a lot of times, eventually that deal breaker shows up and it bites them in the So if you are the kind of person that, okay, I like her, but she can lie. You would always be one leg in and one leg out. I had a girl that I liked like that. I liked her, but if that girl tells you good morning, check outside though. Anyway. So I knew that it was a matter of time. This one is going to lead me to stuff that I don't, want. So you want to ask that why do they not feel 100% committed? And I don't feel it's fair if you are putting in 100 and somebody has the mindset of, if it doesn't, I have nothing to lose. It means that the person has already created for themselves a safety net of it will not work. And that is not faith. So I will tell that person that please swipe left. Right? Swipe left. Somebody says, yes, nothing beats the company of the Holy Spirit. Can Holy Spirit have prayer? Can Holy Spirit have prayer points? I don't understand your question. Buma, what is it? Is it now? Wow. All right. I'm going to read a story and that I found. By the way, I'm reading this story from How to Choose a Life Partner, 165 questions to ask. I'm going to read this story and I want us to see what this story says. It's like the very first stories. I'm going to read it so that we can. Yes. It says, Kelly was a young woman with a bright future before she met Tope, who swept her off her feet. Tope did not share her religious beliefs, but he always spoke to her about his principles and his family values. She remembers him saying that a wife does not need to work, as a husband should support his wife, and she had thought to herself, this is a man of my dreams. Tope was flamboyant, romantic, and passionate, and she fell head over heels in love with him. Kemi's parents and friends tried to talk her out of it, but her mind was made up. The way he explained it, his belief sounded very much like the way he explained it, his beliefs sounded very much like my own, she said. He said the right things at the right time. However, not everything he told her was true. When Topper proposed to Kemi, she accepted and promised to marry him according to his religious beliefs and bring up their children as his religion required. During the ceremony, Kemi repeated phrases in his wait. During the ceremony, Kemi repeated phrases in his language, though she had no idea what she was saying. After the wedding, she read her marriage certificate and was shocked to find that her name had been changed to a traditional one. Her new husband assured her that it was just on paper, but suddenly Kemi's dream of a knight and shining armor was turning into a nightmare. The more I submitted to his tradition, the more he and his family had rights over me, she explained. He controlled everything, my money, my decisions, my social life, and he stayed out all night, spending his time in strip bars or with other women. The physical abuse started while I was pregnant with our second child. On the other side, Kemi's life looked like a Hollywood fantasy. Like a Hollywood fantasy 7 home, an 18-karat tennis bracelet, and any car she wanted. But inside, she was experiencing a living hell. Like I said, this was from 165 question. I'm going to block you, Miriam. Your blocking is eminent. You say, "Kemi fe babalawo ni." So this book says, lesson to learn here. Your partner must have the same religious belief as you. Different religious beliefs have different expectations, both physical and spiritual, both physical and spiritual of their adherents. It is safer for you to enter into covenant relationship with a person who shares the same spiritual convictions with you. The second advice I was giving here: investigate the background of your intended spouse, his family, their traditions and beliefs. Number three, never disregard the warnings of your parents and friends. Number four, a person who truly loves you would never put you through anything you do not understand without ensuring that you know the truth. Number five, only when dealing with God, not man, should trust be blind. I read that because of a couple of things. The fact that this girl actually had a life that looked flashy for a lot of people. Oh, somebody said, please tell us where we can find this 165 questions. Oh, so if you go to the Fountain of Life Church bookstore, you'll find it there. I have a copy, and to be honest, even though I'm married, it's still a blessing to me every time I read it. So if you go to the Fountain of Life Church, we'll find it there. I think there was a time that me and Pia we actually invested. We bought a lot and we gave it to couples. Remember that time when we were still in the small hall when we were doing like gifts and games. We used to wrap. Yes, one of the things that we gave out was 165 person. Some people in the house would have gotten some of these books. Yeah. So it says here, these mistakes were costly for Kemi and could be for you too if you follow her examples without heeding the warning signals. Oh, fantastic. Somebody even has the somebody has the pirated version. Okay. All right. So it's on the chat group if you want it. Yeah, somebody has been generous to give us. Thank you, ma'am. So this person says, this case above illustrates the need for adequate preparation before marriage. We run into danger when we let our lives become so strong that they control us. When we let our desires become so strong that they control us. When that happens, we cross the line from normal to inordinate desires. Our wants become too great and our thoughts become obsessive, such that every other person we meet is is immediately evaluated as a potential spouse. In all the true stories quoted, grave mistakes were made. The people involved married the wrong persons or married for the wrong reasons and would have to live with the negative consequences for their ill informed decisions for the rest of their life. Marriage is serious business. You have to make sure that the person you are committing the rest of your life to deserves it. This does not mean that you should keep a score sheet for every person you date, but it does mean that you should take your time. All right, yes, somebody has taken a picture of the book. Awesome, thank you, okay. It means that you should take your time. Yes, I really want to emphasize this. Please take your time. Yes, don't rush. Be discerning. Get to know the other person well before once, because you can only go to the altar. No, sorry. Learn to know the other person well because once you go to the altar, it will be too late. Look for traits that are desirable in a spouse, and even after you have found them, take it easy. Don't rush into marriage. Use the test of time to make sure that your chosen partner is not dancing with borrowed garments. Take time to set issues straight. Taking time to set issues straight is not optional. It is vital if you want a marriage to succeed. Love is not a two-way affair. It is a tripartite relationship between a man, a woman, and God. Falling in love and choosing who to marry is too big for you to handle on your own. God has a plan for your God has a plan for this part of your life. Try not to set up roadblocks for his plan by disobeying him and doing things your own way. All right. Is there any question? If not, I think I will call it a day. All the other questions, let me see. Any other question here? Nobody has a question. Nobody has a question. So I will just rush through the other questions that I wrote down. Somebody says, does money matter in choice? The question is, money matters, but money is not the only thing, right? Money is not the only thing. Of course, you need to also consider financial stability. Like I always say, God gave man work before he gave him a woman. If you don't have a work, you have no business trying to date somebody. Get something doing. And even if you don't have the job of your dreams, have the job of at your hand. Have the job. The Bible says, whatever your hand find it to do, do it with all diligence. You see, the problem about some men, and I want to say this respectfully to men in the house, a lot of our sisters are not materialistic. You have not just shown them that you are diligent enough. I say this with every level of responsibility. A lot of our sisters are not materialistic. For some of you, it's not really like as if they cannot stay with you entering bus or stay with you in a danfo, but you have not shown that you have your life together. You have not shown that you are living a life like you are building something in the future. It's the truth. And for women, I always like to tell you, as much as a man is obligated to take care of you, do not now become a charity project. Do not become a charity project, because you will lose your ability to contribute to the man's earnings if you are always the one that takes out of him. Some of you may not even have the ability to earn like him, but the wisdom you have in your head will enable him preserve what he has. That is still something. So I just wanted to say that money is important, because there is no love you say you feel that does not increase with spending. You want to create an experience. Now, money they use create experience. Even when you do non-financial experience, they you can easily run out of it. So you have to work hard. Tell your neighbor work hard. Work hard. Male and female work hard. All right. But like I said, it is not the principal thing. Many times women have used short-sightedness to hamper the things of the future, right? I often make this joke. When PI met me, I was driving a brilliant 504 that did not have an AC, but my wife saw the diligence of how I took my work. My wife saw how I would manage my resources. My wife saw how I would, not spend flamboyantly. It was from my mouth. My PI heard things like, if I spend 5,000 on you, know that I have 5 million. Not that I'm miserly, it's just to tell you that I don't use all my hands to eat. You understand? You also want to look at a man in the season of his abundance. Any man that in the season of his abundance does not have savings, but feels that the money is always there, be weary. Because that man, in the days of famine, he will have nothing to fall back on. So there are certain things. I tell women, I say, see, if you really believe this guy is your husband, honestly, you will not spend as much as what you are telling him to spend. It's a guy that you feel that there's really no future, that you tell him, buy me iPhone 16 Pro Max now, when you know that the boy is a salary earner under 1 million. It's because you don't see that there's a future there. If you genuinely see a future there, you want to preserve it, because the boy will generally give it to you. You will most likely save and save and save and buy it for you. But what have you done? You have eaten a part of your future. So you will see that part of the things that start to change in a woman's head when she starts to see that she has a stake in this marriage or in this guy's life. She now starts to be protective of his money. No, don't spend it. I'm waiting. That's when the girl is telling you, oh, do you even know that the camera in iPhone 16 and iPhone 13 is the same thing? Okay, buy iPhone 13 for me, Jerry. It already tells you that she feels that she has a stake in your future and she doesn't want to squander it. So just putting that out there. Yes, but men, please walk. Somebody says, we had sex. Does it mean that it can't work? This came from someone that felt that, oh, this marriage was supposed to be something that, please the eyes, please God. But now we've had sex. It means that we have defiled ourselves. It means that our morals are loose. Yes, the Bible makes us understand that, yes, sex outside marriage is a sin. And it also makes us understand that marriage is honorable with the bed undefiled. However, what I would like to say to you is, if you find yourself in a position where you guys slept, and I will say it in two folds, there's sleeping and there's enjoying. You slept means it happened one time and you guys set boundaries and we created an accountable system and you guys follow through with that, it can still be redeemed. But if it's the one that from one it became two, it became three, first it was fingers, now it has turned to fire, then you know that both of you are not strong enough to stand by decisions. And what I tell people is, if he sins with you consistently, he will sin against you consistently. So if that is the case, you first and foremost, I tell people, if you guys have sinned, first just calm down. If you are going to marry tomorrow, first calm down first, right? Put a pause on it. You want to be able to reevaluate, because sometimes these things are foretastes of even your marriage. If we both decide to not do something, can our resolve be strong enough that we keep to it? I had a case of a sister friend of mine, very painful story. She waited and advanced a bit in age, saw this guy that was married before, got married, but the guy liked her, really great guy, abroad, and a couple of nights before maybe not even a couple of nights, like months before the wedding, they were serious. They had already started planning traditional and all that. They slept with each other, and she just felt that something changed that day. But because they were so neck involved, it just felt like, what, this guy is the guy in any case. So she just went on. And down the years, the marriage really rocky. The guy, a shadow of himself, very, very caustic, very manipulative, blah, 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 blah. And for me, and for her, she was saying that, what, as at that time where they slept with each other, she should have paused to reevaluate that, okay, let's look at this thing. Are we able to actually stand true to certain convictions? Because one of the things that challenged the marriage was when the storm of life came, the guy felt like a pack of cards. He decided to throw tantrums, he decided to become caustic, decided to become very, very insulting, just became like a beast. It was the case of, is this the man I married? But you see, when that whole sex thing happened, it was supposed to be a invitation for them to reappraise what they were in, and unfortunately, it's not really going as great for them. So I'm just going to say that when things like that happen, I want to beg somebody that you are in a heated relationship does not mean you cannot pause, does not mean you cannot end, does not mean you cannot, for the future, don't say a I do, that you may now want to start asking yourself, do I? All right. Am I saying that marriages does not have its bumps? It does, but there are certain things that you know that this is not the will of God. You know that this one cannot be God trying to test me. Imban, this is not it. All right. So my answer is yes, you should pause, but it does not necessarily mean that that marriage cannot work, because the both of you can be forgiven by God, and you can still find your path again. All right. I'm just gonna finish up these questions. I'm not saying questions, that's why I'm just going through all these questions. I like him, but he's in an unhappy marriage. So I'm guessing this is a case of entanglement. The guy you like, obviously he likes you too, but he's in a marriage. And this is a very rare case of people that I've had to counsel, and I call him, you can't understand. We really vibe. He really takes care of me. He's nice. Yes, he can genuinely be feeling these real emotions for you. But you see, the moment you attack somebody's covenant, you have also opened a canker worm for your own to be attacked. The Bible says, forgive us as we forgive those that trespass against us. Once you start to trespass against somebody's marriage, you have opened your own marriage to trespassing. It is not your fault, and you are not the healer for him being in an unhappy marriage. If he does not like that marriage, let him do something about it. But for as long as you are the little slice of sunshine in his life, he will never fix that marriage. He would always use you as his rebound. Unfortunately, men like that, they never really have the balls to leave their wife. What they just want is a little slice of happiness outside, while the woman remains the one that is taking care of their kids and all the things in the home front. So they will never really wake up one day to say they will break up with the woman. They will just keep putting you on a wild goose chase. They will give you money, they'll give you affection, they'll give you time. They even once in a while travel out with you, but they will never commit to you. And if somebody is already leaving one to jump to you, you can also anticipate that one day you would expire and another person will be flashed up. So let that help you. Whoever had that question. Can I start all over? I think I made a mistake. Well, if this is in the context of a relationship, yeah, there is no relationship that cannot be broken. Yes. Even the Bible says a threefold cord cannot easily be broken, meaning that it can even be broken. It's just that it cannot easily be broken. But when it is in marriage, like Pastor Taiwo, I think I heard Pastor Taiwo say it. He said there is no one woman for the other, but when you marry, that person becomes your one. There's a way he said it, that made so much sense. What am I trying to say? Before you throw in the towel, you want to ask yourself, number one, what is the part that you play in this marriage? Ever so often, our hands are quick to point the finger, but we never really look at also the part that we contribute. Yes, your own contribution is as a reaction to what the man did. The man's action was what created your own reaction. If he changes, you will change. You are not the bad person, he's the bad person. In fact, whatever it is, you also contribute into it. So you want to ask yourself, okay, what if you start to reverse it? You want to start to reverse it. The Bible says things like, do good to those that hate you. That way you pour a coal of fire on their head, or you put a heap of coal on their head, sorry. You want to tell yourself, you know what, this is the man I've chosen, this is the man I've married. I can trust God to see whether this is redeemable, except when it's now starting to become a threat to life, actually. That is when you need to now escalate. But if it's just on matters of, oh, we don't connect, I don't think I love him, she doesn't love me. I feel that we're in a generation where divorce is so rampant that we are easy to put it as a joker card. But what we don't read in the Bible is that when you divorce, according to scriptures, what scripture says is that you are not supposed to marry again. And I know some of you come at me and say, but there are other people in the marriage, in this marriage, in our time that have married again. Me, I don't know. I just said what the Bible said. That is what the Bible said. If tomorrow I have higher wisdom about it, I will share with you. But for the one I know now, that is what the scripture said, according to the mouth of Jesus. Number one, Jesus said that divorce came because of the hardness of our hearts, meaning that in the beginning it was not so. It was man that hardened his heart that created the institution of divorce. While God created marriage, man was the one that created divorce. God did not create divorce. And he said that if you have to divorce, you have to take up a life of what? Solitude. You have to be single and stay by it. But you see these things that we see nowadays, somebody divorced, irreconcilable difference. He goes into another one, a marriage, irreconcilable difference. I have found out that more often than not, people that divorce and they get back, if they don't really fix whatever it is, they most likely end up where they started. Right? So that's my school of thought. That is what I believe. And in terms of what the Bible says, you may feel otherwise, and I'm not speaking against anybody. I'm just saying that this is where my understanding is at, based on the scriptures. Yes, that divorce is not God's will. And I think that's question number 8. Is divorce God's will? Divorce is not God's will. So if that person, if you're married, you want to ensure that divorce is the very last thing. And it's not the easiest thing. To be honest, before you pick the area of divorce, at least engage your counselor, engage your pastor, engage your spiritual leader, engage your parents. Don't take that decision of divorce alone. And that is why when things start to go awry to the point of life, carry people along so that they can also help you reinforce that commitment if you need to go on a divorce. But that is not God's will. Does it mean that God, that you will not make heaven? No, that is not true. A divorcee will make heaven. A divorcee is loved by God. A divorcee can still fulfill purpose. A divorcee can give birth to can have one of the best children in this world. I'm not against divorcees. It's not God's will. It's not what God would desire for anybody. The same way God does not desire that people be broke. But can people be broke? Yes. By what? By their choices. But it does not mean that God does not have a comeback plan for them. All right. Question 9. Where can single sisters above 35 find good guys without feeling desperate? Even me, I don't know. That question, if you ask me, now who I go ask? I would say that anybody that feels like they're at the threshold of life where they are advanced in age, number one, keep your social circle fluid. It doesn't mean that you should not become a social junkie. There are some people that the reason why they attend everywhere is so that they can magnet somebody. Stop catfishing, stop going everywhere with the mindset of is it the one, is it the one? No. Have a healthy social life. What does that mean? If you go to a workplace, have friends there. Don't be a one man mopo. If you're in a church, have friends of both male and female. If you are in a social circle, have friends. If you are in a group, contribute in the group when you have to. Don't just be the statistics of, oh, we know we know we are here, we can feel your presence, but you never say anything. So, have a fluid social circle. More than ever before, I feel very strongly that marriage is such a pivotal part of our DNAs, or no, a pivotal part of God's plan for our lives, that it will not allow us to have to wallow to find the person by ourselves. Meaning that within your ecosystem, God has a way of bringing them to you. But more often than not, what has happened is when they come, a lot of us are not discerning enough, or we don't, we are not ready. So keep an open system. Of course, talk to God about it. Another thing that I always like to say to people: be the version of yourself that if you meet yourself, you want to talk to yourself. Did you hear what I said? Be the version of yourself that if you meet yourself, you want to talk to yourself. Some of you are not warm. It's just the sad reality. You are the king in charge of the Wakanda kingdom. You are so tight fisted. Everything is, yes, what? What do you want? What do you want? Not every time violence, most times niceness, you know. So be warm. So he that must have friends, must also show himself friendly. Um, you also want to have stuff going on for you. Another thing is, I feel that some people are just focused on marriage so much that even when the man now comes, there's nothing to talk about. Football, you don't know. Politics, you don't know. What's your dream goal? I just want to be great. I just want to love Jesus. Yes, love Jesus in what capacity? How do you want to propagate the kingdom? I don't know. You are just a tabula rasa, a state of emptiness. So develop yourself. Be the kind of person that genuinely let me see you, and I don't have to see you 15 times to have a good impression about you. So that should also reflect in the way you carry yourself, the way you speak. You see, some of you is in that bus where you were carelessly talking. That somebody that could have seen you in a good way would just have said, "Oops, dodge the bullet." What's up? Shooting gun, yaka. Sometimes no decorum. Understand that you're going somewhere to happen. You understand? So don't just do anyhow. All right. And obviously, of course, um, keep a prayer life so that in this season where it's time, your antennas can pick it. Last question here: can I find a partner on a dating app? Frankly speaking, you can find a partner anywhere, anywhere. The only thing is, so I don't fault the source. I only fault your filter. Did somebody get that? I don't fault the source. I fault your filter. I'll give you an example. You can pack water anywhere. You can pack water from the stream. You can pack water from the gutter. But you see, once your filter is super great, it will sift all the relevant stuff that is not necessary. It will sift out whatever is not necessary. So let it even be that your brother went to a club and his club friend came to the house. Your filter would naturally tell you that this one cannot work, not because of where it's coming from, but because of your filter. Your filter that is linked to your values would naturally tell you that we are not going to the same place. I can't be going to experience and you are going to Davido live in concert. We are going to have clash. You're going to be problem. I can't be thinking of God the Savior. You are telling me that there's one Baba in Ogbomosho. There's going to be problem. We are not going the same way. So I don't fault the source. I fault the filter. However, you can also take the wisdom there is that you don't fault the source. Does that mean that every clean water you want to drink, you must pack it from the gutter? So that will help somebody. That sometimes reduce the work of your filter by also checking the source. There are some sources that you can be rest assured that if anything good will come out from it, it will be 1 out of 10 billion. Do you want to be that one picking beans inside sand? Do you know that work now? When our parents think that we have been naughty, they will not tell us to pick beans. That is full of stones. Do you want to be that person that is having to take your filter through that much stress? After you filter whether he likes drinking alcohol, then you now say, this one, is his lips black from design, or is it black because Igbo has advanced greatly within his bloodstream? you just want to reduce your, so we always tell people use, places that are um, places that you can find nice people, even right now, church is a combination of doctors and patients. So some will be doctors, some will be patients. But if you check every hospital, in most cases, you have more patients than doctors. So even when you come to church, you most likely find more people in their developmental phase than people that are developed. So still your filter. All right. I think I've been able to hey, is a December dirty or is it clean? When we are starting to enter those type of conversation, what's your body count? Like I don't get. Some people are saying, what is your soul count? How many souls have you won? Body ni one kakakiri. Why me I'm on celestial level, you are still on terrestrial. We are not just going to the same place. All right. I think I've been able to treat the question. I'm going to encourage everyone that is in a relationship um, to really take this life questions, how to choose a life partner, 165 questions to ask Pastor Bean. But seriously, if you are not in a relationship, this can also help you build your filter. It can help you guard against certain things. It can help you also watch out for certain things. I had a friend that read this book and he gave me a very funny feedback. He says, "Olumide, I felt this book was very negative. I felt it was always looking at the glass half empty than half full. But I want you to understand that this book, every story that you've seen here, they are real life stories. So I believe the wisdom of Pastor Bimbo in writing it is to really open our eyes to reality. And she starts this book by saying that the first issue that a lot of people feel is it cannot happen to me. That's the first issue that she wanted to deal with. It cannot happen to me. And it cannot happen to me has now made people become the thing I fear the most has come upon me. So the reason why a lot of the stories feel like they are very factual, some of them maybe did not end well, is because it is showing you how that small tolerance of evil or sin, or that I can manage it, can become something that you cannot manage. So you know what? Deal with it now. Papa will say something, Bishop David Oyedepo, he says, what will kill me tomorrow, I will kill it today. What will kill me tomorrow, I will kill it today. If sex will kill me tomorrow, I will kill it today. If pornography will kill me tomorrow, I'll kill it today. If lust will kill me tomorrow, I'll kill it today. If jealousy will kill me tomorrow, I'll kill it today. If not feeling good enough will kill me tomorrow, I will kill it today. Whatever will kill me tomorrow, I will kill it today. So I hope everybody, were blessed by today's session. If you have questions or you want to delve in more on certain topics, please feel free to reach out to us. If this is your first time in our midst, you've never been here before, this is your first time, we would like to know you. Can you please use the raise hand icon so that we can see you? If this is your very first time, you've never been a part of us before, you got to come here by the strength of an invite. Somebody invited you, or you saw our social media page. Can you just lift your hands? Let us see you so that we can felicitate with you. What I'm trying to say is, let me show you so that you see what I'm saying. If you just go to your reaction, you see raise hand. So that's me raising my hand. So that's what I mean. If this is your first time, you can just do the same so that we can meet you. All right. All right. Okay. So aside from me, I think it's a family meeting. All right, God bless you. Guys, tomorrow we're having an exciting time by 7 a.m. Men, we are going to be praying. It's going to be amazing. You want to join 7 a.m. And by 9 a.m., I believe, we are having evangelism tomorrow as a church. So since all of us here are workers and all of us here are members of Hope Nation, I believe, yeah, or majority of us rather are members of Hope Nation, I would like to see all of you tomorrow as we do soul count. All right, God bless you. And Sunday, like I said, is going to be amazing. You don't want to come late for Sunday service. Sunday service is not the one you want to watch on Zoom or on YouTube. You want to be there live. God is going to meet with us in a powerful way. With that being said, let's share the grace and fellowship. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen. Surely, His goodness and mercy follows us all the days of our lives, and we dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. For the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus has set us free from the law of sin and death. And so sin shall not have dominion over us, for the same Spirit is Christ from the dead. It dwells inside of us, and it quickens our mortal bodies to the glory of the name. Amen. Yes, if you are married and you have questions, you can please reach out to me on my DM and we can talk about it. I know we spoke a bit more about single people, but please, married people, if there's stuff you need to hatch out or you need to understand, oh, how do I get back love in my marriage? I feel like my love for my wife or my husband is waxing cold. What can I do? Let's talk about it. I feel like I can't forgive him again because he broke my trust. I find it hard to forgive him. I can't see him the way I've seen him before. Let's talk about it. Whatever it is, please, married people, you can just reach out to me on the DM, either on Instagram or my WhatsApp, or whichever way you can get a hold of me, so we can talk about it. All right, guys, bless you. The Lord be with you. The Lord keep you from all evil. The Lord keep his face shining upon you. You will not make a mistake. You'll never have it better yesterday. The Spirit of the Lord guides and guards you in the selection of your partner. In Jesus' name. God bless you. Have a wonderful night.